that could spread to other people. If you go put a mask on, so you're half hidden. We've been kind of in a dark place for a year and a half as a nation, as a people. Even our churches, sometime a year ago or so, we had all of us, I think we followed the mandate of the governor. Most people did, and we just didn't have church for maybe 6 weeks. Remember that? That was a dark time. There's nothing like meeting together with God's people like we did this morning, hearing those great songs, this music, and it's amazing what praising will do. I sang that this morning when I got out of bed. I hadn't planned to, but it just came to me. It was Sunday, the Lord's Day. We're going to sing that song. It's amazing what praising can do. It is amazing. And so we've always got, these people always had, and we do too, they couldn't get to the temple. They were scattered abroad, hundreds of miles from Jerusalem. The temple was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar, pretty much. But God said, I'll have a place we can meet. Daniel, when he was over there in Babylon, he had a little sanctuary with God right there in his room. Got down on his knees, opened the windows, prayed toward Jerusalem 3 times a day. He was thrown into a den of lions spent a night with a den of lions, and he just made it a sanctuary. God met with him there, and the lions' manes were pillows. You probably had the choice. If that one wasn't soft enough, you'll try this one. No, that's too hard. I'll try this one. Oh, that's just perfect. So those lions just laid down and made a pillow for him. Didn't open their mouths to lick him even. He had a sanctuary with God. Where have you been this week? Maybe the hardest week of your life. Some people have gone through those times. When I was about 16, I was out in Denver for summer, and I drove my dad's 52 Studebaker. That would have been in 1959 or 8, something like that. Maybe 7. I was maybe 17. But I remember I had this 52 Studebaker. I'll tell you, I didn't know at the time it was made in Indiana. I didn't think about it. It was just Studebaker, yellow. Remember those things? They're inimitable. But I was driving home, and I got about 100 miles, and the worst storm you can ever imagine. It was night. It was like middle of the night. I don't know what I was doing coming home at that time, and by myself in this little Studebaker. The power started going out. The lights got dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. I could hardly see anything on the road. The rain was, and the winds were beating so hard. It was just me and God in the Studebaker. And I had some prayer meeting there. And I made it home within 6 blocks of my house and called Dad about 7 in the morning. He came, and the car just completely died right there. I drove in the dark. But you've been through times like that, storms. Brother was up in Canada 10 months. It must have been like being isolated from your family, from your home. God says, I'm going to provide a place of safety. That's what it is when God says, I'll be to them as a little sanctuary. I just read this week, yesterday really, but I read it before some of it. A testimony of a missionary, Garland Cofield. He went to Canada. He's from Tennessee. And he was having great success in evangelism and pastored in Holland, Michigan. And he decided, or the Lord laid upon his heart, a burden to go to Canada as a missionary, up in the North Woods, where it's 40 below in the winter and 50 below a lot of times. And he's from Tennessee. He sought the advice of a well-known preacher from down south where he was from, who said, Garland, if you do that, that'd be the biggest mistake of your life. And it troubled him. On the way home, he was quiet. His wife was quiet. And his wife said, dear, wherever you go, I'm with you all the way. They went to the North Woods in Canada and built a marvelous work for God. Cut it out of the timber of the land. He had a buddy with him, a man. They had an axe, and they were trying to cut down a tree. Can you imagine that? With an axe. We can't imagine that today because we have chainsaws, bulldozers. And a man walked 2 miles to where they were cutting down that tree and said, my cars give out down here on the road. Could you help me? Well, they helped him. He said, what are you guys doing? He said, we're cutting down trees. We're going to build a building here in this clearing right on a beautiful lake. I read that lake didn't have any, it was fed by a spring. They could drink water. It's 1965, they could drink water out of the lake. Still do it today, by the way. The man said, well, I'm the county supervisor for expansion and roads. He said, I'll send the guy with the bulldozer tomorrow and help you. And things like that, just all for all the time he was in Canada. Just build a work, still going. But he tells about landing on a lake that looked like it was frozen, and there was slush. Instead of firm ice in one place, he came into some ice that gave away. The plane, so he got out of the plane and edged off of it, creeped 100 yards or 100 feet. Tells about getting out of that situation alive. There's going to be times when you need a little sanctuary, just you and God in a little prayer meeting. I'm glad to hear that you have prayer meeting Wednesday morning. We need it. We need to pray. God's going to provide a place. He'll be there. It may not be as nice as this church. We may lose this privilege someday. But it'll be a place that he provides. It may be in your basement. I just read yesterday about a preacher and his wife released from, they'd been held 7 years. I don't know where it was, Bangladesh or somewhere. 7 years in prison for their faith. And they were released and sent to the UK. They had a sanctuary. God provided a place of, notice verse 20, a place of security, a place of safety, a place of security. That they may walk in my statute, keep my ordinances, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. That's a place of security. We're never more secure than when we're with God, when we're his people and he is our God. I just want to share a couple more verses. You don't have to turn to these. Psalm 61:3. Thou hast been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. I'll tell you, this world is no friend of Bible Christianity. We need that tower of safety. We need to run to God every day. Oh, God, please protect me, provide for me. Isaiah 26:20, come ye my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy door about thee. Hide thyself as it were but for a little moment until the indignation be past. Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear though the earth be removed, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Isaiah 4:6, there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from the storm and rain. By the way, he made a shadow overnight for Jonah, didn't he, that gourd? Delivered him out of the belly of the fish. By the way, Jonah had a sanctuary down there in the belly of the fish. A place with God. Oh, don't you think he prayed? He did. You can read his prayer, Jonah chapter 2. He prayed. Got out of there. Fish got a stomachache. Belched him up on dry land. He went to Nineveh. But that's another story. The Lord's our rock, in him we hide, a shelter in the time of storm. Secure whatever ill betide. A shelter in the time of storm. Oh, Jesus is a rock in a weary land. A shelter in the time of storm. Jesus is a rock in a weary land. Shelter in the time of storm. A man by the name of Ira Sankey wrote that song. He was born in 1840. Ira Sankey. He's almost up there with Fanny Crosby in writing hymns. He's written such hymns as I am praying for you beneath the cross of Jesus. Hiding in thee, under his wings. Remember, that's under his wings I'm safely abiding. That's Ira Sankey. A soldier of the cross. Am I a soldier of the cross? I think that was his. Faith is the victory that overcomes the world. Trusting Jesus. He wrote those and hundreds more. He was born in 1840. In 1861, the Civil War started. He was 21 years of age. I didn't read that he was in the Civil War. But he lived until 1908. So from 1840, 68 years, he was writing great songs, and most of them had the theme of the one I just quoted from: a shade by day, defense by night, a shelter in the time of storm. No fears alarm, no foes affright, a shelter in the time of storm. Oh, Jesus is the rock in a weary land, a shelter in the time of storm. There's been storms brewing. We were saddened yesterday to hear about the earthquake in Haiti. We have a missionary friend that just raised their support 100%. They're from Haiti. They want to go back.